So the meaning of life is to remember your truth, that you are source, you are not separate from it. You are life, you are source itself, and that you came here for growth and expansion. Welcome to the Miracle Frequency Podcast. Welcome back. I'm Susan Francis, host of the Miracle Frequency. And today we are going to go so deep, so deep. What is the meaning of life, right? What is the meaning of life? Well, some people sort of even, might think about this in terms of what is my purpose? Like, what's the purpose? Why am I here on this planet? And we're just going to cut through all the noise and, like I said, and go really deep. So most people feel like, let's just talk about purpose first. Most people feel like their purpose is something external, that it's something they need to do. So, maybe you feel like your purpose is to serve somehow, like as a coach, as a healer, I don't know, to sort of leave some sort of impact. It's always about this external achievement or success, right? It's like, perhaps this is my purpose. I need to find, I need to follow this path because this is going to, this is going to create whatever success, whatever external legacy that I need to leave. And so a lot of people sort of, like I said, search for this sort of external purpose, this thing that they're sort of meant to be doing. But it's far, far simpler than that. So your purpose on this planet is to experience this life experience, right? It's to fully live this life experience and to be present for it, right? It's to be present for it, because most people live in their mind, live in their head, live in their thoughts, never fully present and experiencing this moment. They live this sort of half life stuck in their heads, trying to figure it all out. And the true meaning of life, if we want to think about the meaning, again, it's to remember who you truly are, to remember that you're not separate from life, from source, that you are life, you are source, and to fully express all of you in this experience of life, right? That is the true meaning of life. Your consciousness came here, or your soul came here for expansion, for growth. And it does that through this life experience, right? This life experience on this planet. So it's not one particular thing, it's how you live through this experience on this planet, right? How do you live through this experience on this planet? Are you fully present? Are you fully expressing whatever is inside you? Are you allowing yourself to connect to your higher self, that deepest part of you? Are you learning the lessons? Are you aware that you are consciousness? You are not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You are not your beliefs. You are not any of the external things. You are the consciousness behind it all. Are you aware of those things? Right? That is where life holds meaning. That is the meaning of life, to come here and fully express and experience this whole life experience. And what I want to say as well is that your life and the experience of life are different, or what you call your life experience and your life are different, right? So your life is the inner energy. It is the consciousness. It is the source within you, right? That is what is life, right? It is this life force, right? It is this connection to source. That is your life. That is your life, right? Your experience of life, your life experience is the stuff, right? It is the stuff. It is, I'm sitting on a chair, in this room, there's a microphone here, I'm wearing a shirt. That is life experience, right? But that is not your life. Your life is the deeper awareness and consciousness. And that's where the meaning comes from. All of this external stuff, all of it, right? Hear me when I say all of the external stuff inherently does not hold any meaning. It doesn't hold any meaning, right? Meaning right? The meaning of life experience, right? So what you perceive to be, your life experience, that inherently holds no meaning. So what I mean by that is that whether you're a doctor or a florist or a coach or a bus driver or whatever, all of those things are neutral. They're all equal. It is only a societal concept that starts to attribute worthiness or value or some sort of rank or perspective to those things. They're inherently all neutral, right? If you're a bus driver, you can have a truly incredible, blessed, amazing experience on this planet by knowing who you truly are, being fully present in the moment and enjoying everything around you. When you're fully present, you realize that there is beauty and joy and so much to be grateful for in every moment. So whether you're a bus driver or a surgeon or a coach or whatever any of the things are, they are all just jobs. They inherently don't hold any meaning. So whether let's say you've got your own business, whether you make 5K a month or 50K a month or 500K a month, none of those things hold any inherent meaning. It is your mind and your conditioned patterns, which mainly have come through society and what you've learned as to be, good, bad, successful, not successful. It's all those thoughts that you're attaching meaning to things, right? So it inherently has no meaning as to whether or not you make 5K a month or 500K a month. Neither of those things inherently hold any meaning. One is not better than the other. One in terms of monetary value is a bigger number than the other, but inherently they have no meaning. So making 500K a month doesn't mean anything about you or your value or worthiness or your experience of life. You can earn 500K a month and be totally miserable. You can earn 5K a month and be blissfully happy. Those are just different experiences. And the true freedom and the great joy comes when you realize that nothing inherently holds any meaning. You're attaching meaning to it. You're literally making it up. Now, I know you're not doing it on purpose. It's like I said, it's conditioned patterns, but you are literally making up all the meaning of everything in your life. So whether or not you think something is good or bad, successful, not successful, you've literally just made that up. And I'm just going to share an experience. One of my coaching clients the other day, we were talking and she's about to launch a new subscription in her business. And she currently is doing something where she's got a newsletter and it's free, and she's going to turn it into a paid subscription, and it's going to be a very low cost of like $30 a year or something. And she said, look, and she was saying to me, even if I just converted 10% of people, that's only 18K. I can't live off of that, right? And so she was looking at it from this perspective that, making 18K a year from this list is a very little amount of money and not good enough. And it was so interesting in that moment. I was like, oh my God, if you just sent an email and turned your list into a paid list and made $18,000 in a very short period of time, I'd be having a little party. That's amazing, right? So and then when she could start to see it from that perspective, go, that's just the start. That can snowball, that can grow. That would just be like day one. So, it was perspective. Making 18K from this list holds no meaning. It holds no meaning. It's all your perspective and what you attach to it. And so the joy in life comes when you release meanings of things, right? When you release the meanings of things. Because like I said, the meaning of life is to come here and fully experience and for your consciousness to grow and expand. It's not about hitting goals. It's not about, like I said, it's not about money or position or status or any of those things. None of those things inherently hold any meaning, whether you're married, unmarried, rich, poor, whatever, homeowner, not a homeowner, like in a relationship, not in a relationship. None of those things inherently hold any meaning. you attach meaning, and it's from the limited place of your mind, from past experiences and thoughts, the things that you have created, right? Your mind has created. And I promise you, you will start to find more joy and beauty and clarity in your life when you release meanings. Okay, when you release meanings, because when you release the meaning around the experiences you're having, right, you are able to be more present and to allow the flow of life to come through you. So let me give you some examples. I'm just going to use, for example, so when I did park my business a couple of years ago, I sort of, shut it down and went back and worked for someone else. Now, my ego, right, which is the personal mind, so the false self, personal mind, ego, I use these words interchangeably, right? They are all the same thing. The false self is this personal mind that has these thoughts about what's good and bad, wanted and unwanted, and judges all the things, right? It's attaching meaning to everything in our experience. So when I did park my business, my ego, my personal self, absolutely, and we all have this, so it's okay, but the more you have awareness around it and dissolve this part of you somewhat, you awaken to that truth of who you are and experience more beauty and joy in your world. So closed my business down, went and worked for someone else in retail. I actually went back and worked for the first person that I ever worked for a long time ago. I'm not going to tell you how many years ago. I was 18 when I first moved to Sydney. And a few really incredible things happened. One was my ego started shouting. My ego started shouting, oh my God, you're a failure. Your business isn't successful. You've let it all go. And so all these thoughts came up about being a failure. It's not okay. All of these sorts of things. But because I had enough awareness to know that, and I was just really, I guess, understanding this in a deeper way. I had enough awareness to know, hang on, I know that those are just my thoughts and that nothing inherently holds any meaning. So giving up my business and going back and working for someone else, my ego, my personal self was, like I said, jumping up and down going, you're a failure, you're never going to be successful. You're never going to get ahead. You're going backwards, all of these sorts of thoughts. And so what I did was I used a practice to release that in the moment. When those thoughts would come up, I would release those thoughts in the moment and come back to neutrality, come back to the present moment, and remember that nothing inherently holds any meaning. So what I mean by that is that parking my business and going back and working in retail, look, I've had a lot of, very successful jobs. I've been a general manager. I've done a lot of different things. And so, like I said, my ego was shouting, you're a failure, you're a failure, you're a failure. But that's a judgment, right? That's a judgment. So as I was able to dissolve and let go of that, what happened was I found more peace. I was able to be present. And what was really interesting is that I was able to go back into this role, and it allowed me time to practice really being present, because I did have a lot of quiet moments in that job where I was sort of, in a shop, right, standing around, and was able to just really practice being present. But the other thing that I realized was that, when I first moved to Sydney many years ago, I actually studied fashion design. And so I worked in retail then. I really enjoyed it because I'm really great at styling, putting together outfits. And so I had fun. People would come in, I'd put together outfits for them, I'd help them out, and it was fun. And what it really taught me was, it's a mind that creates judgment about what we need to be doing, what is of value, what's beyond us, or what we should or shouldn't be doing. And we can actually have fun and enjoyment doing so many different things and doing simple things. Like, yes, I was capable of so much more. And so what I simply reminded myself is that all of those skills, all of those life lessons, all of those things, they were still there. This was just a part of my growth and expansion, right? Of being able to practice presence and practice really fully letting go and surrendering to life. I knew that what I had to do was to fully surrender to life, and I did. And lots of magic unfolded over that next couple of years, and it's led me to exactly where I am. And I now have this incredible deep trust and this knowing that life absolutely is flowing through me and happening for me, and I trust all things. So I don't judge things. I mean, look, it's still a practice, right? I still have an ego. We all do. Personal mind does come up, but I know how to release it. So I'm able to move through things, and and you can as well, where you don't judge the things. You don't attach meaning, okay? You don't attach meaning. When we don't attach meaning to what's good and bad, wanted and unwanted, and we are more open to what flows through, we are led in different directions. It's the restriction of the mind trying to control things and attaching meaning to things that keeps us feeling stuck, because our mind thinks it knows when it doesn't. Our mind knows the past, it knows all the judgments. That's all it knows. It doesn't know limitlessness. It doesn't know expansion. It doesn't know the magic of the consciousness of source, of your higher self that can flow through you. It doesn't know that. It's not tapped into that. So the meaning of life is simply to be able to let go of that egoic mind and fully tap into your highest consciousness, your higher self source, and to know that that's what you truly are, and to be able to fully be present and live this life experience, to experience life on this planet. So like I said, when I went through that period of a couple of years doing other things, I was able to find peace, right? Even though I wasn't, there was a part of me that knew that that wasn't, I guess, what you might call my highest calling. I knew I had more to give, to share, and all of that. But I trusted that for this time, right, this point, this moment in my life, that was what needed to happen, and that it was okay. There was no judgment. Well, there was judgment, which I released, right? That whether it was good or bad, the meaning, like what it meant about me, it didn't. The meaning of not being successful or being a failure, that was my mind attaching meanings to things, right? That's not the truth. That is not the truth. I want you to start really questioning all of your beliefs. I once heard this line, and it really stuck with me. All beliefs eventually become limiting beliefs, right? All beliefs become limiting beliefs. So what I mean by that, it's that, like I said, let's say, I'm just going to use business examples. Let's say you're starting a brand new business and your goal is, oh my God, I just want to get to 10K months. Great. When you hit 10K months, guess what happens? That starts to feel low, and your egoic mind goes, oh, but now I want to hit 20K months. And it continues to go. So your personal mind, your egoic mind, it's never satisfied in this moment, right? It exists outside of this moment, taking you back to the past, projecting into the future. It dissolves in this moment. And so it's never satisfied. It's always going to be chasing and striving, right? And that ends up causing suffering. When you're chasing and striving and never present, that is what creates suffering. So your great purpose in life isn't to fulfill anything external, right? It is to come back to the wholeness, to the completeness, to the truth of who you are in this moment, and to be fully present and to experience the unfolding of life, to grow, to expand, to remember who you truly are, and to let go of the false self, the personal self, all those parts of you that are judging the present moment, right? Judging the present moment. When you are fully present, when you are fully, deeply present and not living in the mind, you're able to see the beauty all around you. For those that are watching this on YouTube, you can see this beautiful light streaming into my room, right? There's magic all around us. There is magic all around us all the time, no matter what you're doing. Even when you are fully still, you can appreciate the colors, the shapes, the textures. There is so much beauty, but it lives in this moment. It doesn't live in this mind, in the personal mind. So the meaning of life is to remember your truth, that you are source. You are not separate from it. You are life. You are source itself, and that you came here for growth and expansion. It's not about achieving certain goals. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't create beautiful things on this planet and do lots of fun, incredible things. That's what the life experience is. But inherently, it holds no meaning. So whether or not your business is a six-figure business or a seven-figure business or an eight-figure business, inherently that holds no meaning. Whether you're a school teacher or a surgeon or a janitor or whatever, inherently those things hold no meaning. They are part of the life experience, and you can find joy and beauty in all of the life experiences when you're present. So it's not so much about what you're doing, but how you're doing it, right? How you're doing it. Right? When we let go of the personal mind and remember the truth of who we are, life becomes beautiful. And that's what I want to help you do. And on that note, I have something very, very exciting to share. A new podcast. So I know the Miracle Frequency is new, but allowing it all to unfold, it's so interesting. When I first started this up again, I didn't really know where it would go. I knew I loved recording a podcast and I wanted to do that. And I followed that breadcrumb. This is the beauty of life, right? This is the beauty of the unfolding. It's trusting one breadcrumb and following that. Your personal mind is never going to know the whole trail. Think of Hansel and Gretel, right? It's like you follow one breadcrumb to the next. Your personal mind is never going to know it all. So the whole trying to plan it all out, map it all out, my advice is ditch all of that, right? Follow this first breadcrumb, which for me was releasing the Miracle Frequency. And after I released it, a couple of weeks after I released it, the next breadcrumb has dropped in, which is the frequency integration. A private podcast which will be released every week straight after this episode, after the Miracle Frequency, straight after that, which is the deep integrative teachings, processes, tools to help you integrate this into your life, for it to become your lived experiences. So not just the teachings, but the deep embodiment and integration, right? So that is what we're going to be doing. The work that I would normally do with private clients in all my my programs, that is what we're going to be doing inside the integration, the frequency integration, right? So it's the implementation, it's the juiciness, the coaching to integrate it and embody it, to make this not just be nice to hear, but to be how you live, right? So the link will be in the show notes for that. And of course, there is a super special for the founding members. So I'm releasing this at the start of July 2025. So for this month, there'll be an incredible offer for those that come in this month. So take a look, see if that feels like something that you feel called to do. Trust that pull. That's what it's all about. It's not about the logic ever. It's that if you feel called to it, if you feel pulled to it, that is your sign. Trust that. Trust that. So I'm so excited for those of you that will jump into that, and I will chat to you again in the next episode. Bye for now.